Hi guys, back with another car chat video as I wait for my mom. So I decided to go ahead and do this video, which is a requested video from one of our fellow love bugs. And it is about how to tell someone is freaky. And the reason why the question is posed is because every time this individual gets into a new connection, the person that they're seeing is usually either far more experienced when it comes to sex or hypersexual. They have a higher libido, and it causes issues when they get into, a deeper state into the relationship because of being a bit more conservative and not needing it nearly as much. So it becomes a concern, and of course, they're not the only one. And so that's what we're talking about today. And I want you to be able to identify if someone is, I know you want to call them freaky, or they have a high sex drive, whatever, but I want to give you 5 signs that someone is that way, okay? So number 1, they give off this sexual energy. And when you meet them, they may come off as being lustful, giving you the eyes. Everything about them is like seductive. It's like almost like they're trying to lure you in. And it's not even with the first meeting. It's like always like that. There's something very seductive about this person. Their aura is just giving sex vibes, lots of energy, high energy usually, with someone who has, a high sex drive, and they like to experiment. And so they're going to give you that energy of someone who's very experienced. That is one way to know, and it'll be quite clear because everything else that they do may not stand out nearly as much as the energy that they're giving you in regards to just being lustful and alluring, trying to get you to really want them and desire them. So that's going to outweigh and outshine anything else that they say or do. Next, if you guys happen to go dancing and you notice that this person has great rhythm, they're grinding and they're whining and they can really do all of these moves, typically that is someone who is very, very good in bed. The rhythm is crazy good, and while you're dancing, it's almost as if you are having sex. I know we've all been with that type of person who gives off that sexual energy while you're dancing. It's like, wait, whoa, what are we doing? Yes, that is someone who probably more than likely has a very high sex drive and will probably want it very often, okay? Another way to identify if someone has, high sex energy is they are always touchy-feely. They're always hugging on you, rubbing on you, trying to be next to you, just trying to fill up on you some kind of way, like very touchy-feely. Even from the moment when you meet, you may be greeted with a hug or some way to just be up on you. It's always like that. This is a person who will probably be very clingy when it comes to sex. Like they always want that affection and that attention that's giving, that the act of sex or intercourse gives. So that's another. It might be subtle, but just know usually when someone's always rubbing on you and they're trying to touch your hand, they're very they really like intimacy, and maybe more so like love making, that sort of thing. And if your person is giving you that sexual confidence, they seem as though they have experimented quite a few times just by their conversation. They've tried this, they've tried, being with other people, or they're curious about it. This is an individual will not necessarily want sex all the time, or at least not every other day or every day. But when they do, it has to be done in a certain type of way. They may want to be or do, you know, S&M, some sort of dominatrix, or bring a third party in, you know, experiment, that sort of thing, explore their sexual prowess. Yeah, so, and it's quite intimidating for someone, especially if you are like new to sex, especially if you're younger, you haven't had any experience or very little, so it can be quite overwhelming to try to measure up to that. And another way of knowing if someone is of you know, this type of person is they've only had a couple of real connections, like real relationships. They're not really good with relationship, and perhaps this is the reason why, but they've had more sexual encounters. They can't even count them on one hand anymore. So if you've experienced someone like this, or you've met someone like this, more so than likely you should be glad that they're your ex or that past person, because this is the type of person who really likes to get their way around. Okay, not saying that they're whorish or anything like that, but they're very fluent in with their sexual prowess. You understand? And again, it could be quite intimidating, especially if someone who likes to introduce people to new things will try this. Oh no, just try it once. Or we're going to experiment with this tonight. Last week was okay, you did okay, but I want to push the limit with you. I want to see what you're good at, or what you can be interested in. You understand? It's kind of like a drug addict. They try to influence someone else to do the drug with them so they can have a partner, and you can, you know, buy the product or whatever together. So it's that kind of thing. Now, why are you attracting these type of people? I don't know, maybe you have sex appeal. And you know, and that's the other thing. And I think a lot of people who actually are seeking something profound, you know, solid connection, they come off as giving all of this sexual vibe, the sexual energy, your aura, the way you walk, the way you move. Perhaps you look like a dime, like your body is amazing. And when this type of person sees you, they automatically think, oh wow, they must be into sex, or they must really be good in bed, or want it off, and that kind of thing. And this is the issue that our fellow love bug is having. Like I don't want to come off as a tease, but I'm sorry I look this way. I'm sorry I dress a certain way, but my intentions was not to make you think that I want sex every single day, multiple times a day. Like, that's not what I'm giving. And because you are so sexually attractive, you know, someone who has a high sex drive, I'm just really into sex, that's what they're going to think. Because you have to understand that this type of individual, more so than less, always has sex on the brain. And they use their eyes, they're visual creatures. So when they see someone who's quite appealing, that's what they go after. Because, oh, they must be that way. They're dressed like this, you know? And it's confusing. And they get in the relationship or the connection, and they realize that the person is more conservative and a bit more reserved sexually. They just prefer to cuddle and kiss. That's when the problems begin. Yeah. So if you are in this situation and you are dealing with this type of individual, because they may not know how to break it off with you, the only thing that you can do for yourself and to save your esteem is to kind of, you know, find a way to get out of this situation. Because if you're not trying to progress sexually, you're not trying to learn and experiment and explore in that area, then why fight about it? You understand? Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you guys who are possibly having this issue. Many people are. I don't get this very often because, you know, it's probably embarrassing. Yeah, you may not have that high sex drive. Everyone isn't, I won't say blessed, or just may not have that. Okay, and it can be a major issue in your connections, a culprit, if you will. All right, guys, I thank you so much for joining me. That is all for now. Until next time.